Sir, I will join after 5 minutes later. My phone is being discharged.
Okay, you can do that.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so I think my screen is visible now.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes, sir.
So we are into the chapter of food production. Okay, food. Okay. So that is chapter number 8. So we covered the initial part of the food production chapter, okay, which includes the importance of the bacteria and fungi in food production, microorganisms in food production, okay, the formation of curd, cheese, the importance of the microorganisms in agriculture, that is the rhizobium, okay, the production of alcohol and vinegar, okay, by acetobacter and by yeast, curing of tea, preparation of vitamins. Okay, all of these bakery products and beverages by yeast, all of these things we discussed earlier. We also covered a little bit about the mushroom. Okay, mushrooms are important for microorganisms, there's also fungi and required for the food crop production. We discussed also about the importance in agriculture, what are crop plants, okay, food plants, cash crops, kharif and rabi. Kharif and rabi extremely important. So the crops that are sown during the monsoon season, they are known as what kind of crops? Monsoon season. Okay.
Kharif
Mon
crop.
okay, one is monsoon season, another is winter season. Okay. So one that is coming in the monsoon season is called a kharif. Okay. And in winter season is known as rabi. How do you remember? Kharif, monsoon, okay, winter, rabi. So you can think about some mnemonics or anything that you can think about, okay. So you need to remember that the crops that are sown during the monsoon season are known as kharif crops, okay. And this includes the millets, that is the bajra, jowar, paddy, that is rice. Okay, rice cultivation mainly takes place in the kharif season, and also maize, groundnut, soya bean, sugarcane, all of these also can be done in the kharif season, in the monsoon season. During the winter season, most of the pulses they are being kept, okay, wheat, pea, mustard, barley, linseed, all of these are there in the rabi season. Okay, so we discussed about this in our previous class. So today what we are going to discuss is about the organic farming. Okay, so organic farming is something people are listening these days more often, no? Organic farming, we need to reduce our use of pesticides, weedicides, chemicals, okay, in the agriculture process. So the farming which includes these kind of eco-friendly methods, okay, these are included under the organic farming, okay. So because what has happened is the excess use of these chemical fertilizers. Okay, so chemical fertilizers like urea. So what happens if you use a lot of urea? You know, urea is the source of nitrogen. Okay, plants need nitrogen for their growth. Plants need carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen. These are the what you can say the major elements, the bulk elements. Okay, so whereas the photosynthesis is able to provide these things, fix the carbon and that water, okay, all these things are being taken care during the photosynthesis. This nitrogen is very important for the protein, okay. Plants also have proteins, right? They have to, for example, particularly in the case of pulses, that is the dal, okay, they need to produce they need a lot of protein. So from where they will get this nitrogen? So one is the nitrogen cycle, okay. Nitrogen cycle, that is the different microorganisms will be converting the atmospheric nitrogen into usable nitrogen, okay, that is known as the nitrogen fixation, and it will be going on. But this process, you are depending totally on nature, no? And if you use chemical fertilizers like urea, the plant is able to get instant amount of easily utilizable nitrogen, okay. So what happens is the plant will show the fast growth, rapid growth. The farmers, they are spending lot of money to buy these chemical fertilizers like urea, npk, and all these things, okay, and they have got very good results. But after a few years, what happens, that the soil quality, it becomes very poor, okay. Why it becomes poor?
Because of the use of chemicals.
So because of the harmful chemicals.
Yeah, but this urea, how do you think it is going to damage the soil? Is it going to change the pH of the soil? Do you think?
Yes, sir.
It is going to change the pH of the soil. So basically, the plants, if they are getting a lot of acidic soil or very much basic soil, that is not good for the plant. Now, what is going to happen is it is going to make the pH of the soil a bit alkaline. Okay, alkaline. So if the soil become alkaline, then do you think that the salts that are present in the soil, okay, minerals are there in the soil, na? They have to be absorbed by the plants. But if the pH is alkaline, the solubility of these salts, they will reduce, okay. If the solubility becomes less, then it becomes difficult for the plant to get all these like magnesium, sodium, potassium, whatever the different calcium, all these things are coming from the soil. These salts, it becomes difficult for the plant to absorb because it become alkaline. But if it is a slightly acidic, not very acidic, slightly acidic soil, the salts, these minerals, they become easily dissolvable and absorbed by the plants, okay. So in this way, the urea is going to damage, chemical fertilizer. Then there are the pesticides, okay. Pesticides, the main purpose is to kill the pest, okay. The pests are like some insects, and all these are the pests. So to kill that, we are using it, and it gives good result also. But what happens, there are birds which eat these pests, okay. But after spraying with pesticide, these insects, they died because of this pesticide. They may also be eaten by the birds. Then what is going to happen, this chemical gets into the body of these birds, and either they may die, or what happens, for example, in vultures, okay, the population of the vulture reduced a lot. Why? Because this chemical like DDT is used to kill mosquitoes and all, no, that white powder they generally they will through for sanitization purpose they will be using. So when this DDT, it gets into this food chain, what happens is the egg of the vulture, okay, egg has a shell, right? That white shell is there on the top. That shell, it becomes very thin and it is easily broken. So then what happens, the population of the vultures become less. So it has ecological impact, okay. So similarly, weedicides are there, weedicides, Weedicides are for what purpose? To kill the weeds. Okay, so for example, your main crop is there, but along with your crop maybe some other grass and this that unnecessary things may be growing, and they are taking the nutrition. So you don't want to do lot of labor work, so you want to apply the chemicals. So people, what happens is, most of the farmers, very large scale, they simply apply the weedicide. Okay, this also has a lot of ecological impact. They also gives a lot of problem. So in this way, what is happening, that the quality of the soil, of the rivers, lakes, okay, all of these things, our environment, it is getting damaged. So this is a concern for all of the people, so they are moving towards the organic farming. So organic farming, what is happening is, the fertilizer here is not a chemical, but it is a organic manure. Organic manure. Okay, so organic manure means whatever the waste is coming from the crops, animals, other farm waste is there, from the fish pond, aquarium, whatever this kind of waste is there, they can be composted. Okay, they can be composted to make this organic manure. This organic manure is more wholesome, and it does not damage the quality of the soil. Okay, next, there is another process in the organic farming, that is called crop rotation and mixed cropping. Okay, so what is crop rotation? Anyone want to guess?
Yes,
Yeah, please.
the crop rotation is the planting of different types of crops in the soil so that the nutrients are.
Okay, anyone else? There is some kind of rotation, right? Rotation of the crop. So rotation means what is going to take place. Suppose some farmer is very much interested to do paddy cultivation, that is nothing but rice cultivation. Okay, so throughout the year, he, if he get the chance, he want to do only rice cultivation 2 times. Okay, even if water is available, maybe for 3 times also, or 4 times also. So what will happen? When we are growing only one type of crop continuously on a certain land, then very specific type of nutrients, they will get depleted, they will be consumed in more amount. Okay, so what is going to happen? The fertility of the soil will reduce. But suppose once rice is cultivated, and after that some pulses are cultivated, legume plants are cultivated, then what will happen? When we cultivate the leguminous plants, they fix the nitrogen. Okay, so when they fix the nitrogen, what will happen? Naturally, the content of the nitrogen in the soil will increase. Okay, so how it will be useful for the next crop? That nitrogen will be available. Also some fresh nutrients, because once that nitrogen plant, leguminous plant, has given its yield, whatever that pulses are there, we have taken from that one. Mostly what they will do, they will put that plant back into the soil, they will allow it to degrade in the soil itself, so the nutrition of the soil will improve. So in this way, what happen, by changing the crop? Okay, in crop rotation, what happens is, we are changing the pattern of the crop. So then what happens, any particular nutrition will not get specifically consumed. There will be a alternative to crop rotation is mixed cropping. So in one line you are growing one type of plant, in another line you are growing other type. In this way, in one field itself, they are growing the different crops. Okay, then it is called mixed cropping. Okay, so you got the difference, that the crop rotation means here only one type of crop is grown at one time, but throughout the year different crops are grown. But in the case of mixed cropping, what is going to happen? At one point of time, different crops are grown at the same time. That is a mixed cropping. Okay, all of you understood? Any doubt?
Sir, what is more beneficial?
Which is more beneficial, whether crop rotation or mixed cropping? So the crop rotation and mixed cropping, slightly, okay, we can say that mixed cropping is better. Why? You see, crop rotation, what it involves? It involves the monoculture. Means monoculture means what? Mono means only one type of plant is grown. So whenever you are growing in huge place only one type of crop, the chances that there will be some kind of attack by the pest, okay, by microorganisms of fungal infection, bacterial infection, okay, or some deficiency of nutrition, all of these things they increase. But in the case of mixed cropping, what happens? There are the different crops at the same time. Okay, then what happens? Suppose some insects that are, they want to eat these eggs, okay, that have come into the field, but they cannot increase their number too much because immediately beside there are the different crops. Okay, I will give one example. For example, some tomato cultivation is going on. Okay, tomato, brinjal, something is there in X. In Y, what has happened? Marigold. Okay, marigold flower. So this marigold, the leaves of that marigold, they are having a very strong smell, because of which the pest will run away. So the farmer is able to get yield of the vegetable and also he is able to sell the flowers. So in one field, different pattern of the crops are kept of even different heights. Okay, so that he is able to optimize this area. Okay, but here what is happening? Crop rotation, only for example rice at one time, only pulses one time, only something one time. So these appears to be better than mixed cropping, better than the crop rotation. Okay. Okay.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, why are organic fruits and vegetables so costly?
Yeah, the reason being that when we apply
Very
these
good.
chemicals, then the shelf life, okay, of these products they increase. For example, apple, orange, whatever is fruits are there or vegetables are there, when we are using chemicals, okay, it is killing the pest. For example, we use pesticide, it kill the pesticide. But even after you have taken that cauliflower or cabbage away from the field, is the pesticide totally gone? It is not gone. So when it is there in the market, there also the still that pesticide is there on that fruit or vegetable, because of which the insects are not attacking that. Okay, so what happened? The fruit or vegetable that is looking so clean and good and nice may have very high levels of the pesticide. That is why no one want to eat that fruit or vegetable, that insects. Okay, so it is commercially very good for the business person. Those who are doing the organic farming, for them there is a more loss, more of the fruits and vegetables they will be attacked by the pest. You can use the organic ones, but the organic ones are not as powerful as the chemical pesticides and all these things. Correct? They are natural, they are not so powerful as this one. Since there is a more loss associated, that is why cost is high. But other point is that definitely the cost can be reduced. Okay, it is not that it has to be always high. Cost can be reduced. It is a social kind of thing. You know? So if people are forming what you say a company, okay, and making a very targeted way of selling things in an organized manner, definitely the cost of this one can be reduced. Okay. Next, there is another weed and pest management. Okay, weed and pest management. Weeds are nothing but the unwanted plants that are growing. They are unwanted for you because you want to grow something, but something else is also growing. So that is unwanted for you, but nature may not see as unwanted. Pest. Pest attacks the plant. Why pest attack the plant? It is a natural process, but since you planted the crop, you don't want any pest on that. Okay. So these two things, that is the weed and pest, they are unwanted, okay, by the person who is doing commercial farming. So how to get rid of it? Manual method is, okay, just by hand going and picking up the weeds, removing by hand. It's a very tedious job, labor is very expensive. Okay. Mechanical method can be used. One is a labor method, okay, direct labor. Other is a mechanical method, okay, and other is by crop rotation. Okay. Sometimes by crop rotation also the weeds can be reduced a lot. Okay. The other one is flame weeding. Not many people do this flame weeding. Okay, flame weeding is nothing but is, carrying a gas torch or something and flame that whole area directly burn it. Okay, so direct burning of there is a high chance that your own crop may also get burnt. So most people don't do this kind of flame weeding. Flame weeding is very different from what we listen in the news. Okay, in the news it comes that after the rice harvest, the stubble burning. What you say? Have you heard about stubble burning?
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
So you have heard that in Delhi there is a huge fog because uh,
Leftover part is burnt. Means after the harvest, that rice is
no, yeah, rice or wheat, yeah, that
kept.
leftover whatever is there, So say
Yes,
that rice or wheat plant is there. So when they cut that, no, this much from here they are cutting. So this part that remains. So if it has to naturally decay into the soil, it takes long time. So then a lot of time will go into the next crop. So what they will do, they'll put fire to this one. That is called stubble burning. But because of putting fire, what happens? A lot of smoke will be generated. This smoke will get into the air, and this is in the winter season. So it will cause the fog plus smoke will make the smog. Okay. This is going to cause respiratory problems. In Delhi, we listen, no? Like mostly in the news, it will be coming that there is a smog. Total Delhi is covered with the fog because of the
Sir,
farmers are burning.
sir,
Yeah.
stubble, sir, in Hindi we say stubble burning parali, no?
Yes. That is it. Parali. Yes, that is what it is called. Okay. So this one is a problem. So, but that is very different from flame weeding, stubble burning. Okay. So we will continue in our next class. Okay. What are the other methods? Okay. That these are the basic methods that are used for the removing the weeds. Okay, for pest management. In the case of organic method, what are the things that can be done, we will discuss in the next class. In the meanwhile, if you have any questions, you can ask. I will just take the attendance. Okay, so I'll see you all in the next class. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Bye, sir. Have a good day, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Bye. Thank you. Hello.